you, baby.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? It's me, Theo Butler, talking about our American flag and our American anthem. A lot of people upset with Colin Kaepernick and everything about his stance, especially that thing about him having those socks on with the pigs, with the police hats on and everything like that. I want to go over something with y'all real quick, something that y'all may not know. I know a lot of people that's mad at Colin Kaepernick don't know, but you can know because you have access to the internet just like I do. Let's do a timeline. 1619, the first slaves arrived in Jamestown, Virginia. Yeah, slaves. 1777, the creation of the very first image of the American flag. Flag wasn't even created yet as a country, but we had slaves. 1800 to 1866, we had black codes, which the United States enforced, was basically trying to say more or less that African Americans, slaves, whatever, really weren't the equal of Caucasian Americans. But I digress. 1808, the importation of slaves is prohibited. Now we have the flag that Colin Kaepernick is not standing up for, that's supposed to be protecting all Americans. And in 1808, we have the importation of slaves is abolished. That means you can't bring slaves into the country anymore, right? Cool. 1814, the Star Spangled Banner is written. That's our national anthem. Supposed to cover each and every last one of us, right? That's what I thought. In 1865, the 13th Amendment abolishes slavery. Ironically speaking, the Ku Klux Klan is also formed in 1865. Let me think about that for a second. We got slaves, we got the flag, we got the anthem, all of which are supposed to apply to everybody in America, and we have the abolishment of slavery. Anyway, I digress. 1890, the Jim Crow laws come into effect. You don't have to be a history major to know what the Jim Crow laws are. Basically, you just have to have a TV or internet. Just pull it up. The Jim Crow laws. 1914, we had World War I. United States is at war with people. Guess what that means? We also have African Americans fighting in this world war who are treated as second-class citizens, right? Second-class citizens, protecting the country. Then we had the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombing in 1921. A lot of y'all might not know this, but look it up. Basically, over 300 people, African Americans, lost their lives because Caucasian people were mad at them. Remember, we're citizens at this time, right? The flag and the national anthem are supposed to apply to each and every last American citizen, but we're still seen as second-class citizens, which is what Colin Kaepernick is upset about. 1939, we had World War II. World War II. Tuskegee Airmen, Red Tails. That's right. The Tuskegee Airmen debuted in 1940. So we had African Americans fighting for, dying for this country, coming back and being treated as second-class citizens. This starting to sound real familiar to you? Anyway, we had a civil rights movement. It begins in 1954, which, hey, why do we need to have a civil rights movement? I mean, damn. The importation of slaves has been abolished. The 13th Amendment abolishes slavery. Why in the hell do we need to have a civil rights? Because African Americans are still being treated as second-class citizens. 1965, we had a Watts riot in LA. Why do we? Oh, that's right. Brother got pulled over supposedly for drinking driving, got his behind handed to him by a bunch of Caucasian police. Does that sound familiar? Let's see. 1965, 2016. Who knew? 1966, we had the formation of the Black Panther Party. J. Edgar Hoover is pissed. I want y'all to know by now that Black Panther Party no longer exists. We're not talking about the new Black Panther Party, but we're talking about the original Black Panther Party, with Bobby Seale and those cats. Anyway, they disbanded in 1982, but how, the Ku Klux Klan is still around. Damn. How did the FBI target and eliminate the Black Panther Party and the Ku Klux Klan is still around? I really don't understand that. Anyway, in 1992, we had a Los Angeles riots. Remember Rodney King getting his ass kicked by 5 or 6 police officers. They say he was on PCP or something like that there, but what other images do we have of African Americans getting their ass? Oh, all you got to do is just pick up a newspaper, turn on the computer. Seem to be like African Americans still getting their ass beat by police officers to this day. 2013, we had a Black Lives Matter movement, which is pretty important because we were trying to say Black Lives Matter. Just found out a few days ago that somebody actually started a White Lives Matter movement. But if you look at the timeline that I just gave you, it's never been in question whether or not white lives matter. White lives always matter. They always will matter. You don't believe me? Go to a local book stand, magazine stand. You see all those magazines, all those periodicals, a lot of white people on there. And trust me, I'm not saying anything's wrong with white people. There's nothing wrong with white people. But there's nothing wrong with black people either. So what is the deal? Essentially, it boils down to this. Colin Kaepernick should not have ever had a reason to feel like he needed to sit down to prove a point. He shouldn't have a point to prove. But if you look at the creation of this country, if you look at the flag when it was made, if you look at the American National Anthem when it was created, it was supposed to apply to each and every last one of us. But unfortunately, based on how we feel about it, it doesn't. We want it to. It should. But it doesn't. So to all the people, and I really hope the video goes viral, but hey, you never know. But to all the people that are opposed, pissed off, disgusted with Colin Kaepernick's actions, why is it the only time we seem to hear from you is when an African American protests? I got the two brothers standing up during the 1960s Olympics, fist raised in the air. America's pissed, 38 hot. Why? They should never have had a fist to raise in the first place. They shouldn't have had a reason to raise their fist. The Black Panther Party should definitely never have come into existence. But why was there a need for the Black Panther Party to come into existence? At some point in time, you gotta be real with the situation. And mind you, everything I just pulled up on the internet. And I didn't write it. It's right there. So if you pissed off about something, if you want to be mad about something, don't be mad because Colin Kaepernick chose to sit down and do the national anthem. Don't be mad about that. Be mad because this brother had a reason. If you call yourself American, if you call yourself an American and you believe in the red, white, and blue, I'm a former service member, 6 years in the United States Marine Corps. Granddad did time in the Army. My mother was a police officer. My daughter is in the Army Reserve. So trust me, I love this country. But at the same point in time, I don't have a problem calling this country out when it goes awry. And this country has been awry since, let me go through my timeline here. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I ain't got to do that. Ever since this country said that for it to get on its feet, it needed to have slavery. And ever since then, we have continued to treat people like second-class citizens. And the only time we get mad is when somebody says something about, hey, you're treating part of your population like second-class citizens. You need to check yourself. Really, you do. If we're all Americans, by the time we start acting like it. And if you run across somebody who treats somebody un-American, you know that person is an American, don't stand idly by. Stand up. Poke your chest out and say, no, that's not what this country is about. That's not what this country represents. That's my time. I'm out. Peace. You know, this thing never wants to end like it's supposed to.